So welcome everyone to another session of chair or seated yoga. So these sessions are designed to be accessible for all really. So there may be some movements that don't feel so comfortable. So you choose and really listening to the body to see whether that's a good idea for you. And certainly if there's pain, it's really not worth it. The idea of this is to support you rather than undermine anything that is happening in your body. So hopefully bring your mind, your breath and your body and we'll see what we can do together. So this session, I thought I've not done sessions for a while of the chair yoga, that we do a kind of head to toe session. So we get a lot of small movements in a lot of places, and we're going to start at the head. So really common issues in the neck, in the shoulders, around the jaw, maybe headaches and things like that. So sometimes this whole area around here just gets really tense, or we just don't move even within our range very much, our head. So we're just going to explore some movement around the head to start off with. So just making sure you feel comfortable in your chair. So you know you've got your feet firmly on the ground rather than hanging in midair, and they can make contact with the ground. And you choose whether you sit back in the seat or whether you have your back slightly off from the back support in your chair, so you feel that sort of lightness and extension through the back of your spine, and a little bit of a sense of freedom through the whole of the neck as well. So light upper body if you can, and then allowing the bones of the sitting bones, if you like, in the bottom just to relax down to take your weight. So we're not collapsing, that's being collapsed. We have a little bit of sense of sitting bones going down, spine being able to lift. Okay, so let the shoulders just rest wherever they can. So the idea is they rest down away from the ears. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple of breaths before we move our head. So just taking a breath in here and a breath out. A breath in, so a sense of lift through the spine slightly, and a breath out, just relaxing the tension in this upper body. Taking a breath in, taking a breath out. Okay, so we've arrived on our seat and we've arrived with the feet connected to the ground, sitting bones connected, sense of uplift through the spine, and made a little bit of contact with that internal support with the breath. So we're just going to take our gaze to one side and the other side, so like a no. So we're going to take our gaze over to look towards one shoulder, and we just take it slowly and we just see how that feels. So we're not looking to pull, have any sense of pull or strain in the neck. We just get to where we get to from doing a slow movement. And just notice where you do complete that cycle, that half of the circuit, and then gently gaze follows the room, and the chin comes back to face forward. And then we take our gaze in the other direction, following the room, the outskirts of the space you're in. And you get to where you get to, just noticing where you get to. And then gently bringing the head back. So we're doing this softly so we can get a real sense of freedom or not in the movement. So back to facing forward. So I just want you to, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, close your eyes. If you're not, then just looking down. And I'd like you to imagine you taking your head over to the right. So you don't move it, you just imagine you're moving your head over to the right. Really gently, really slowly, and it's comfortable and it's smooth. Okay, and bringing it gently back. So you just visualize it or imagine that's happening. And then you're back to center. So now I'd like you to do the second time, taking your head over to one side, the side that you were imagining. And just see how things go. So you might find you've got a little bit more space than you did the first time. Or you might not. So just following, letting the gaze go around. So actually it's kind of like the eyes are helping you here. So just note if you got further without actually any intention to push or force. So we're going to stop again in center. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to just relax here for a second. And then we're going to imagine we're taking our head over to the opposite side. Just imagine that movement. We visualize it. We imagine it. You can sense that in our body. Our movement to the opposite side, which may have been our better side or not when we did it the first time. And then opening the eyes and gently, gently tracking over to your second side. And gently back. So again, being interested if you got any further without any additional effort, but actually with more ease. So we're looking for maximum ease in all these movements. So I got a lot further out. So there is something that goes on in the brain when we kind of imagine doing something before we do it. It sometimes triggers everything to relax, and then we do the movement and there's a little bit more opening, or there's a lot more opening. So just being interested in your own experience for that. So it's fun to just try something out that's a bit different. Okay, so if we take a breath in and lengthen through the spine, and then we take our left ear to our left shoulder slightly. And just hesitate for a moment, pause, so you have a little bit of a feeling of length on the opposite side, on the right side of the neck. And gently breathe in. Extend and lengthen through the spine to get your head back on top. And then over to the other side. So breathing out. This is my tight side to release. So I know it's not going to do quite so much. Pause. And then breathing in. Lengthen. And relax. It's always good to notice what happens when you kind of come to that center point. So maybe for me, I felt like, oh, my shoulders have rested down a little bit more. I thought I'd rested them down, with actually more scope for that to happen. Okay, so sometimes it feels like we're lengthening our neck, but what's probably happening is we're enabling that feeling through the release of the shoulders, which get tight for probably everybody, to be honest. Okay, so we're going to work with shoulders a little bit now. So we're going to bring our left shoulder up towards our ear, and it comes up to where it comes up to. Pause for a second, and then see if you can lower it down with smoothness, ease, just allowing it to glide back down, and then really let it release. So you might not notice here from the visual, but I'm pretty sure my shoulder is released further down than where it started. So opposite side, taking the shoulder up towards the ears. If the ear doesn't come down to the shoulder this time, the shoulder comes to the ear, and then we allow it to, with control, to release it. So Let's just smooth the journey back down as we can. And we continue the journey, we continue the journey, continue, and let it just release and relax. Let out ah. And so we can do a sigh, we can do a positive sigh or a really fed up sigh. So, you know, our kind of positive sigh is almost like a ah that we've seen a friend, you know, it's kind of, it's an upward facing ah rather than a downward facing ah. Okay, so we're going to release our arms out to the side. So I've got my palms initially facing towards me and then slightly taking them to the side so my shoulders go back towards the back of the chair. And then I'm going to just do the opposite. I'm going to let my arms come forward and my shoulders come forward, and maybe even resting the back of my hands on my thighs. And then I'm going to open up. So there comes some opening in the front of the sternum here, just in front of the chest. And shoulders come forward and round, back of the hands to the thighs. So open up like a flower and let the chest open up a little bit here, and shoulders back and down. And forward with the shoulders. I even allow the chin to come to rest down a little bit more. And then open, and you might allow yourself to gaze upwards. So we're bringing in the neck a little bit more now as we bring the hands in, and we bring the chin down. So as we open up this time, we'll finish off that series of movements. So obviously you could do that with the breath. You could breathe in to open up this part of the movement, and you could breathe out through this part of the movement. Okay. So we're going to move down. We're going to actually do a little bit more with the shoulders. It actually affects the shoulders and a little bit more down the side body. So if you're comfortable taking the fingertips to the shoulders, then just do a little bit of stirring with the shoulders. So it's not too dissimilar from what we were doing before. It's a little bit of a quicker movement and a little bit more circling movement rather than opening, closing movement. And the opposite direction. So elbows do the circling. So we just find a rhythm here. Yeah. Smooth rhythm. There might be cracks and squeaks and grinds, but we just acknowledge that and just try and smooth them out, or imagine the smoothing out, or do smaller movements. See, I just cracked that. You might be able to hear it. The catch might be the wrist. Okay, so talking of wrists, if we take our hands as if we're pressing down with the palms of the hands, let the shoulders relax down, and just feeling how it feels underneath the wrists and underneath the inner arms. Take the arms out to the side a little way, and pause there with the hands still. So there's a lengthening going on underneath the wrists here. And let the arms come back down. And relax the hands here. Let the shoulders relax again. Okay, so this time might not feel as easy. The wrists coming in the opposite directions. So palms facing up, and there's a lengthening through the top of the wrist, the back of the wrist, rather than the front area that we moved before. And again, just let the arms drift slightly up and slightly back. So you could breathe in here. relax the hands. So a little bit of just circling the wrist now, one way. And then the other way. And back to base on the lap. Okay, going to get a bit hippie now. We're moving down to the central area. So we can do various movements with the hips, but we'll start with a kind of circle in the hips, which you can do standing. It's quite nice to do sitting as well. So you feel your sitting bones on the seat, and you need to move away from the back of the chair so that you can see if you can circle around. You can take your hands to the bony bit at the front of the pelvis and see if you can just do a little bit of a circuit here. So forward, side, back. So there's a certain point when there's a bit of an arch in your back as you bring your belly forward, and then as you go back, you kind of round in the back slightly, lower back, as you do the circuit. Let's go the other way. And then arrive back in centre. Let the bottom go back and feel for the support that you need here. And we're just going to take 3 breaths as a pause. So my suggestion is breathing through the nostrils, but you could breathe in through the nostrils and out slowly through the lips as another option, if that feels more supportive. So I'll do my first breath in and out through my nose, and then I'll do a breath in through the nose and a breath out through the lips. So we're looking at the out breath maybe to be a little bit longer than the in breath, just kind of aids a sense of relaxation. So taking a breath in here, and a slow breath out through the nose if you can. Take a breath in, and a breath out through pursed lips, as if you're blowing through a straw kind of thing. And then one more with your favourite, whether it's blowing through the lips or just blowing out through the nose. So breathing in, and breathing out. Great. Okay, so we're moving down the body. So we're going to, again, see if this feels safe for you to do. It won't work for everybody. If people have issues with hips, it might not work so well for them. So you're picking up your knee, you might not see that very clearly, and you're taking your hand just below the knee or around the kneecap. And I'm doing circles with my ankles, but there's also obviously something going on with the hip here in terms of it being held or stabilized a little bit from this work with the arms and holding the knee. So if this isn't good for you, then you just take the leg out and you do the circles without that. But if you want to kind of work with a stable pelvis, stable hips for now, then we're focusing on doing circles one way and circles the other way. And gently release. Sometimes that feels like there's a lot of work being done and things happen maybe in the muscles around the legs there. So we've done one side, and sometimes it's really useful when we do different sides just to see what the impact is for you, so how it feels on the leg that you just worked with compared to the leg that's just been watching, as it were, waiting for action. So mine feels very different. This one feels more released. I feel more conscious of the leg, feel more weight going through the heel on the floor. You may experience none of those or something completely different. So just listening in, it's always useful to get a sense of our own bodies and what's going on. So if you can work on the second side, then you're lifting up slightly. So the idea of, again, being able to lift from the spine is that there's more work going on in the arms, shoulders will be coming forward. So you're just trying to not collapse here, you're trying to keep that tall spine if you can, and then circling the toes so the ankle gets a little bit of work here. Or again, doing it without the leg hold, just taking the leg forward and doing some circles, and then circling in the opposite direction. We're looking for, we've looked on all these movements for smooth, slidey movement rather than clunky click if we can help it. But don't judge yourself if the body's not behaving itself. Sometimes it's early, or you've been sitting for a while, or standing, all sorts of things might be making an impact. Okay, and relax down. Feel like another there. Okay, so we're going to just do a couple of bigger movements so the whole body gets to play, if you like, rather than just our individual joints or muscles areas. So we're going to just sweep the arms in a circle around and back. So we'll keep it fairly straightforward. So we can use the breath, and the way we'll involve the legs is as we sweep the arms up, we'll press the feet slightly into the ground. And what that tends to do is start to activate the muscles in the legs. It can be quite a bit more energizing for the latter part of the class. So allowing the arms to just settle by the side, let the shoulders relax and the jaw relax. We haven't done jaw this week, we might do that another time. So taking a breath in here and sweeping the arms in a circle and up towards the sky. So get a bit of length through the side body. And just follow, track back on the out breath. So if you need to do it quicker or you prefer to do it quicker, do. But the arms, we're looking to control the arms through the whole journey. So it's a little bit like we're actually taking our arms through water. We have that little bit of resistance feeling. So there's a bit of strength work going on, and we're taking control. So the abs and other parts of the body will start playing as well. They're starting working. So I didn't mention about the legs, so we'll make this happen on this second time. So breathing in, press the feet more in towards the ground to activate the legs as you bring the arms up. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And then as you bring the arms down on the out breath, you can choose to either relax the legs or to keep that sort of strength of the legs on the way down. It's quite nice to use the strength and then release the strength. So breathing in, pressing down through the feet, get the legs active. Extend, and maybe this time look up. Out breath, same journey, rerouting down, either relaxing the legs or not, you choose, keeping the control for the arms. So if the breath needs to do something different, just pause here and let the breath do something different. So it might be, I want to go slow, but my breath, I can't, I run out of in-breath or I run out of out-breath. So rather than straining, don't want you to strain the breath, and just let the out-breath come even though you're taking your arms up. Just start with the in-breath as you go up, and then ideally start with the out-breath as you go down, and if you need to take more breath. So it's the idea is the breath supports you. So if any way it feels like it's undermining you, then just simple out. So we're going to do 3 more of those to finish with. So hands to the side, let the shoulders relax, let the jaw relax. And when you're ready, breathing in, pressing the feet slightly down to activate the legs, activating the belly, arms go up with control, maybe looking up. Out breath. Maintain that length through the spine as the arms come down. Maybe the legs relax on the way down. 2 more on your own time. Okay. So if your body is comfortable to have a little bit of a shake out, let the body have a little bit of a shake out as we close the session. So just a bit of shaking of the fingers, the wrists, the arms, the shoulders. And if you're happy to move the feet as well and the legs, and just give them a little shake out, that might be too much. So just do the arms if that just feels not the right thing to do. Just let any tension go and get some energy and warmth to the body. It is winter here at the moment. So thank you for doing the top to toe session with me. So hopefully get back to a few more chair seated yoga classes for people. So thank you for joining me, and wishing you can stay well and healthy. All the best, everyone. Thank you.